in a natural resource field would put them down along roadsides, or they put them down as far as green areas. So crown vetch is one of those quick covers, and what it does is it outcompetes the rest of its plant partners, the ones that grow next to it, outcompetes it so it can come up first in the spring. It can grow and cover the area so that sunlight can't get to the other plants. Okay, its distribution is basically from the east coast all the way to the west coast. So this guy's got a huge range. All right, so that's just a little about crown vetch. You guys talked about barberry, and that was an ornamental. Shake your head if you know what an ornamental is. So an ornamental plant would be planted for its aesthetic value. So it's pretty. So we'll put it in our yards. That is the same with some of the honeysuckle. It was very pretty. So you'd put it in your yard, and boy, it'd flower really nice, and it was a really nice shape. And then what happened is that seeds spread like they do, especially if they're in berries and they're food for critters. We can't control where the birds poop, so it can get spread to all different places, and then it becomes even more invasive from there. Again, that range map too, that has a large range spreading throughout the United States. Yellow star thistle, raise your hand if that's one of your plants. Okay, over there, excellent. So you guys have kind of a famous group of plants. Thistles in general, musk thistle, Canada thistle, are involved in invasive and exotic. So if it's exotic, it's not from here. If it's invasive, that means it can take over a habitat or an ecosystem. So the yellow star thistle is an annual herbaceous plant in the aster family. Again, it outcompetes. It has a lot of seed producing capabilities, which is hard because it's a wind-blown seed. We can't control the wind, can we? So it goes and goes and goes. You guys also had Queen Anne's lace as an invasive. Yes. So originally that one was brought over again for it's pretty. It's a pretty flower. All right. A lot of our plants were brought over from Europe, from our European settlers, just like garlic mustard was. That was brought over as an herb. This was brought over also for medicinal and herb use as well. So I think, did I hit on almost all of them? Garlic mustard is a herb that was brought over for a food source and also for medicine. And it's growing in both full sun and full shade. It originally was just a shaded species, and it's evolved pretty fast.
All right. Now, next part, they have questions they'd like to ask you about the organism. And we do have some garlic mustard here, so we'll start with garlic mustard. I can hold it up so they can see it, and maybe you can talk about it a little bit. All right, so who's the garlic mustard people? So in general here, if you want to make some comments about it, this is what we have here. Some other samples besides the ones you gave us. Somebody.
You guys have a first year form, so it's a biannual, which means that the first year it's the rosette form, which is that, and in the spring, that's actually the most, I guess, appetizing. It's got a lot of great flavor to it. You can make pesto with it, and I can give you that recipe, Mr. Dolan.
Right.
You could make the mustard pesto. Or else, behind me will make stuff and bring it in. Awesome. So that's the first year form. The second year form is the seed bearing plant, and that can grow about 3 feet tall, and it gets seed pods on it and a white 5-petal flower. Those seed heads are about that long, and in each pod they can have up to 20 seeds. So one garlic mustard plant can hold up to 200 seeds. Okay, that's creepy. And then those seeds can stay viable in the soil for up to 7 years.
So I noticed there's some tubers to it. Does it still come from a seed, or how does it go? The seed starts it out.
So seeds, they'll go seed. This is so this is obviously this taproot will help with the seed production in the second year.
Okay.
Then that second year plant produces a seed that will grow more of the garlic mustard.
Okay.
When people pick the first year form and they do soil disruption, there's arguments that soil disruption actually helps more of the pioneer or invasive species continue to grow.
All right. So you guys have a question you want to ask? Go ahead.
Are there different species of garlic mustard?
So on your brochures and things, which this is one of my favorite garlic mustard brochures.
See that? Cool.
That is our, that's problem species. That's the species that we have in Iowa that is our invasive. Sometimes you have, this is the genus and the species. Okay, so the species right here, online you'll have sometimes a different species name, but this is the one that's our problem child, okay?
So if they want to grow garlic mustard, can we find that anywhere online, or what should we grow? Or just mustard garlic seeds will be the same family, right?
Well, here's the kicker. There's different types of mustards. If you want, what Jefferson did is they took some of the first year forms and they potted them and they kept them in the class and used those for their experiments. So we can do that for you if you want some.
Okay. Not sure what, yeah.
Here's that.
I don't, yeah. Can you say that would be great in the microphone?
That'd be great. You do? Okay. So I'll get, well, I think we have some containers in the garage. We'll just fill up maybe about 10 to 11 plants. Would that be enough?
You're right. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Actually doing it.
Okay.
All right.
We'll dig some of those up. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to a different group. What do you guys?
See how far? Now lift it up over. Okay, we're moving to another group.
Okay.
Yeah, here you go.
All right, this is the thistle group. Whoops.
Oh, hold on, she's here. Okay, so that's just the cord. Go ahead.
My first question is this plant toxic to humans?
Thistle?
Yeah, the yellow star thistle.
Yellow star thistle. So I have my little write up here because I don't know everything about every plant. Shocker, right? No. Here is what they say. Doesn't say anything about being toxic to people. Goats graze on it. It just reduces the diversity of other plant species.
Another question, quick.
What does this plant do to the world's environment?
What does this plant do for what?
To the environment.
To the environment.
So this plant reduces biodiversity, and what biodiversity is the amount of different types of living things in an area. So with thistles, they'll drown out, they'll take light away from existing plants so they can't grow. And what you'll find with all these invasives is there's a theme. Most of them are doing the same thing. They're out competing the rest of the plant. Okay?
All right.
It also, the thistle doesn't serve for great wildlife food either, by the way. So wildlife species then suffer as a secondary effect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go next. Who's right in front? The girls. What are you?
Dame's rocket.
What?
Dame's rocket.
Dame's rocket. The violet, I sent you.
We passed that.
Okay.
What's your question, Joe?
How should we grow Dame's rocket? Direct sunlight or shade?
Rocket like pulls up. If you ever hike at the Mines of Spain where the chapel is, are you familiar with Mines of Spain at all? The state area. Dame's rocket is actually all on that hillside walking up to the chapel, which is full sun. It is similar to garlic mustard though, where it can also grow in partial shade. So these invasive plants are learning how to evolve faster, which is something that you guys will learn about through your research. They evolve pretty quickly in the scheme of evolution.
Say. Right into the mic.
What seasons would it usually grow in?
I only caught the last part. Can you repeat your question?
What seasons would it usually grow in?
Dame's rocket is in bloom, so it's actually flowering during midsummer. So you're going to see it sprout obviously in the spring, but it's not going to have a flower until midsummer, and then obviously goes to seed in the fall. But it's a midsummer, so it's a late July, early August flower.
Okay, so I think. Who's next? Do you have a question? Go ahead.
How is Dame's rocket invasive?
How is Dame's rocket invasive?
Say yes.
Okay, so Dame's rocket, since it's not a native, which means it's not from here, it is not a native plant, it's invasive by the way that it grows. It grows in very thick, dense patches, so then it outcompetes other native flowers, which is dangerous because those native flowers then are food for birds, wildlife, and so we're greatly decreasing the amount of quality food for our wildlife.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. There you go. Yeah, you guys just kind of scooch around. Okay, so you can talk into the mic.
Any group we haven't got yet?
Any group we've missed?
Go ahead, Queen Anne's Lake, speak.
When was crown vetch Can you eat it?
Okay, talk right into the mic, hon.
Is it edible?
Is what edible?
The carrot part of Queen Anne's Lakes.
Yes.
And does it annoy farmers and grow in their fields?
You know, I'm not a farmer, but I come from farmers. I'd have to ask my dad. No, I think with the Queen Anne's Lace currently, there's not a lot of it that grows anywhere else because a lot of our crops, I don't know if you noticed our fields, everything's planted really close. There's not a lot of room for other things to come up, and they use all these different chemicals. It's more of a problem when you're looking at diversity in prairies. So that's going to be where the competition comes in. It'll outcompete some of our natives.
All right, Parker. All right, that's right.
That's okay. Okay. Okay, talk right into the mic.
Are the berries on barberry edible?
That one I have to read about. We just started seeing more of the barberry in our areas. So let's read about the seed. Okay, it's a red-colored seed. Most of the time, if it's red, obviously there's exceptions to every rule, is non-edible. This one doesn't say if it's poisonous or not, but I think this one is not edible. And I will get back to you on that. I'll email Mr. Dolan for 100% answer this afternoon, okay? So I'll put that with my to-do list for garlic mustard. Any other barberry questions?
How did it get to the U.S.?
An ornamental.
You understand what that means?
Do you remember when so it was brought over like honeysuckle, it was pretty, and so they wanted it. And just like, okay, so when you go visit someplace, you want to bring things with you, like your favorite cuddly blanket or teddy bear. You guys are too big for that stuff, right? No. But you want to bring something that reminds you of home. So a lot of people either brought critters that reminded them of home or plants.
Our next question is, what kind of climate does it grow in?
Honey, can you speak right into that? I didn't catch your whole question.
What kind of climate does it grow in?
So barberry grows in our climate. So he likes, same thing, goes to all 4 seasons. This one can be found in almost every state, if I'm not mistaken, on its range map.
All right, Crown Edge, quickly bring your questions up.
Yep.
Anybody got to go to band?
Our first question is, when was crown vetch brought to America?
I was crown vetch to America. So, this does not have that date, but most everything you can bring in when our first settlers came over. So Dubuque happened to be the key city. So we had a lot of folks traveling in the mid-1800s. Is when a lot of these were first brought over. But the huge part of crown vetch was when it was planted as a quick cover And that was in like 1940s, 1950s.
And how tall can it grow? How tall can it grow?
It's not a tall growing plant. It reminds me of clover a little bit in the way that the leaves look. It doesn't get real tall. It grows out, so maybe 2 feet, and then grows laterally.
And are there like what other types are really close to what it's like?
Are there any plants similar to it?
Yeah. Are
In
there
its
any
family.
plants similar to it in its family?
Okay. The trefoil, tick trefoil, looks a lot like this.
Remember those things you got on you? Similar to that. We went out to Evie Lyons and picked seed, and the tick toil got all over them. The deer tick stuff. It was terrible. I'd never seen that.
You guys learned about seed dispersal the hard way.
That was pretty bad stuff. Okay.
So you know it's kind of a fun experiment, Mr. Dolan? Next time you go out there, wear socks, put old socks over your shoes, and see what all the kids collect for seeds, and then bury the socks in the thing of soil and see what comes up in the spring.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, kind of a fun one. They can find out about seed dispersal and then find out about how gross their socks are.
All right, one more. Lunch.
Is it toxic to animals?
Brown vetch?
Yeah.
Not toxic to animals.
Is that all we have?
That's all I have.
Okay, what do we say to Jenny, you guys?
Thank you.
Hey, no, you guys need to be thanked. This is pretty exciting. I think your teachers deserve a big round of applause too for using this great technology. It saves everybody gas and we're saving our resources. But another thing about these invasives is no matter if it was government's fault that they were first introduced, but you guys are going to be carrying the torch as far as some of these control methods. So doing this in middle school really should be applauded. So I'm proud of you, and I'm happy to work with you. If any other questions, go through Mr. Dolan, and I'll get you the answers on barberry and dig up some plants today for y'all, okay?